Welcome, fellow Walking Dead fans. Solid Dave Snake here. Very excited to bring you this review on the brand spanking new The Walking Dead Skybound exclusive New Beginning Rick Grimes action figure. And this action figure was a big surprise to the Walking Dead community, as it had just magically appeared 2 weeks ago at the Emerald City Con. There was no leakage of news of this action figure beforehand. This was the first spot it popped up at that con, and then the following Thursday, Skybound released it on their site. So you can go right now to skybound.com and purchase either the colored version of this New Beginning Rick Grimes or the bloody black and white version, which Skybound always does. Whenever they release these Skybound exclusives, they do one in the colored treatment and one in the bloody black and white. But you can go over to their site now, and they are $25 a piece. And I saw on eBay, the days of that con was going on, people buying them there and selling them on eBay. They were going up to $50, $60, even $70. And do these people not know you can just go to the Skybound site and order them there for $25 a piece? I don't know. I know me and some other YouTubers have been trying to keep that news out there, and in our Facebook group, The Walking Dead Action Figures and Memorabilia, we're always telling people to get these exclusives on the site whenever they go up. So give you a heads up there if you don't already know. But I will be reviewing the colored version, and I do not open up my bloody black and white versions, but I love this Skybound packaging so much. I'll pull him up close here and give you a little look. Of course, we get the profile of Rick Grimes up here, is how he looks in the New Beginning story arc. Down below, we get Rick as how he looked on the cover of issue 150 when he was soaked in blood, which is fitting for this bloody black and white version. And give you a little bit of an up-close look of him in the box here. But if you want a full in-depth review of this bloody black and white Rick Grimes, I will put a link in the description below to my good friend Ronnie Hayes over at Make a Path Presents. He will be doing a full out-of-box review on this bloody black and white version. So go ahead and check that out after this review. And on the back here, we get another portrait of Rick as how he looked on, I can't think of the cover off the top of my head. One of the covers that had him on there. I think it was 148. But very cool packaging. Great job again by Skybound with that. And now let's take a look at the actual figure himself. And wow, McFarlane and Skybound knocked it out of the park again with this one. Now, I do have a few nitpicks here and there with this figure, but overall, I think fans of the comic book are going to be very satisfied with this action figure, as it holds a great likeness to his comic book counterpart in a lot of ways. And we'll just kick it off with his accessories. And his most important accessory for me is his cane that he uses, because he always has it with him now. This version of Rick has been battered and beaten. He's been through a lot. Broken leg, of course, you can see is missing his hand, and now has this prosthetic. He's been shot a couple times. He's more of a commander and leader now than he is a warrior like he was in the past. So he uses this cane, and give you a nice up close look at it. There's not a whole lot of detail on it. It's pretty basic. Has this little loop up top here and is flat down on the bottom. But the interesting thing on this is there is a hole up top, if you can see, which fits into this peg in his hand, which McFarlane has been experimenting with lately. Their previous Skybound exclusive Alpha had this peg in her right hand to hold a shotgun. And then in the last TV series 9, Walking Dead action figures, Beth Green had these pegs in both hands, and I really disliked it with her. I don't know exactly how I feel about these overall quite yet, because it does work really well with this cane. But the other two accessories he has, the revolver and hatchet doesn't work so well with. And I'll show you here, which this revolver does fit in the holster very nicely. And you can peg it in here, but he is not holding it naturally whatsoever. And his hand is posed to hold that cane, really. So it just doesn't look right. It looks half decent from this angle, but if you see it on this side, it just looks like he's holding it way too loose. And I don't necessarily like having a hole in his revolver, which, why the heck do all our comic book Rick Grimes come with revolvers? I know the Colt Python is his classic weapon in the show, his trademark weapon, but in the comic books there were only several times where Rick used a revolver, and one of the times when he was dressed as the constable wasn't even this long-barreled revolver, it was a snub nose. So don't know why they keep adding these with Rick, but he does have a trademark weapon from the comic book, and that is his hatchet, which our comic book versions normally come with, and it fits in that loop on his belt real nice. However, he does not hold it very well with that peg, kind of like the revolver. It'll fit in there, but it definitely doesn't look the most natural from this angle. Yeah, even this way, it just looks like it's way too wide of a grip. But all in all, really, I'm going to be posing this Rick with his cane, so this isn't too big of a deal to me. And if you do want to pose him with a weapon, I suggest just taking off these hands. These hands come off very easily on these figures. You really don't even have to hold a hairdryer to them, but that is a little tip. Or put them in hot water, and it should pop right off. And you can always exchange a left hand from another Walking Dead action figure with the same skin tone that has a closed grip for weapons. So, little tip for you. But a little light on accessories, but what he comes with is fitting, except for that revolver. But now let's take a up-close look from head to toe of this Rick Grimes. Get a nice focus in here on his face. And I think that turned out really good. McFarlane always does a great job with the sculpts of these comic book action figures. I've always thought they've came out better than most of the TV series action figures. However, the paint job on his head is not perfect. His hair is a little too dark. It's a little more lighter of a brown in the comic books. But I guess that's kind of a minor nitpick. And on this figure I have in front of us right now, let me get in even closer so you can see good here. But I have some smudge marks up on my forehead, right by the hairline, which almost looks like dirt. Could really be played off as that. I think that was a little bit of a mess up. And even around the ear you can see. I mean, you have to get in really close. I have this zoomed in pretty close here. Eyes turned out pretty good on this one. So, you really have to get close to see those imperfections. Another little one right here. And it is just on this figure. It's not all of them. It's just this one that I took out. Because if I pull up my other color I have in box, you can see he does not have those marks on his forehead. So, they're not all going to be like that. So, besides the little mess up on mine that I opened, this is a great head sculpt. And his outfit was done perfectly. There's a lot of detail in this shirt, from the little silver buttons to all the wrinkles and folds and weathered look to the actual shirt. And they even did a great job showing how it's tucked in, giving it that illusion. So that looks nice. And one of the neatest things on this figure here is the prosthetic piece. It's a very unique arm piece in these figures. And you can kind of see the detailing of this, of how it works. With this piston right here, being able to clamp his little pinchers. You can even see a big nut right here. Show you on this side. So really cool detail. Even down here on his shirt where his collar's rolled up. I like how they add in all that little fine detail. On this sleeve it's rolled up. And he's got a couple belts here. He has the main one going around his pants. And then he has another with the loop for the hatchet and the holster for his revolver. And the pants did come out good. A little bit of weathering going on and nice folds and wrinkles down below, especially where they overlap the boots down here, which look great as well. Not any paint variation with the boots, however. And basic on the bottom. But overall, a great looking version of the New Beginning Rick Grimes. And his articulation was really well done. His head is on a ball joint, which will rotate a full 360 degrees. And he'll look this far down and pretty high up. And of course you can get a little tilt action out of it. His shoulders are on that ball joint and hinge, which both of them will go up almost to 90 degrees, not quite. And they will rotate all the way around. Now here's where both arms are a little different. On his prosthetic, he just has a cut right here where the prosthetic is connecting with the shirt. And you can rotate it all the way around. And on this side, he's not cut there. He has the cut where these figures normally have the cuts. And then he has a hinge at the hand. And you can rotate where the peg is there as well. So you can get him in that nice position of his hand down holding the cane very easily. And he does have full waist rotation. So he's not restricted there whatsoever. However, I started popping him off. He goes back on nice and easy though. And you can get him in sitting positions very easily. His legs will go up to pretty much 90 degrees. And his knees will go to 90 degrees as well, so you can get him in a perfect sitting position. And of course you can kick his legs out. And at the knees, like I said, he gets 90 degrees and full rotation. And his feet have ball joints, however they were really stiff when I first got him out of package, and I kind of broke them loose. And now you can get a lot more movement out of them. So be mindful of that when you first get them. You're going to want to really try to force these feet, or else they're going to kind of be stuck in one position. But once you do, you can get a lot of movement out of that ball joint. So it should be easy to get them standing in any position you want. So, awesome Skybound exclusive. Just some few minor nitpicks, but overall I think this is a great figure, and he makes the third New Beginning Walking Dead action figure we've gotten. First one we got was Jesus, Paul Monroe. Bring him out with his buddy Rick. And then we got the villain of the comic books right now, Alpha. And soon we will be getting her daughter Lydia and the New Beginning Negan in Comic Series 5. So I'm really looking forward to that. And to leave you, I'll bring out the comic book that this Rick was really based off of. The issue of 150. And I really would have loved for them to have done a color variant of this in just blood. That would have been great. However, that bloody black and white version of Rick is nice as well. So, alright everybody, I highly recommend this Rick Grimes, especially if you're a fan of the comic books. If you've been getting all the Walking Dead comic book action figures, I don't see how you could pass up on this one. So make sure you go to Skybound to buy them. Don't go to Evil Bay. And make sure you pay $25 a piece for them there on Skybound. Don't overpay, guys. And I hope you enjoyed the review, and I'll catch you later.